My name is Dr. Michael Brown, and this is 3 Words, a bite-sized podcast about the significant choices that we can make in order to be fully alive. And friends, we cannot be fully alive if we are lying to ourselves. That's the conversation for today with my friend Sammy. Listen in. Sammy, we're back.
Sir.
We're back in the studio. We're back having a conversation for our listeners and viewers. As I've often said, you tend to take what seems to be this big idea or this general principle or this important thought, and you just take us deep. So I'm excited to have this conversation because it first glance seems like a really deep, meaningful, and honestly, scary conversation.
Yeah.
But first, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Sammy, born and raised in Nigeria. I've been in Ohio for about 20-something years. I'm a husband, father of 5 daughters, lead an organization. Love being here with you.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I love being here with you as well, which ties into our conversation about truth and lies, if I can say that. And here's our 3 words for today.
Challenge every lie.
Challenge every lie.
That's
now,
right.
I've had enough time with you. I'm presuming that we're talking about a different kind of lie than when someone lies to you. Like we have, between the two of us, we have 14 children.
Yeah.
And I'm sure on occasion they've told us lies.
Here and there.
Now, I've never told them lies except for the fact that, Santa's real. But all that to say, what kind of lies are we talking about? Why is this important to you? Challenge every lie.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
So, it was a defining moment for me when I realized that I am a really good liar to myself. I didn't took this journey a while ago where I went back to like the moments of my greatest regrets, and I realized that I was there cheering myself on off the cliff, And so for me, it was just a wake-up moment when I realized that, man, because it's easy, you want to blame your parents, you want to blame society, you want to blame conditions, blame your teachers, blame your siblings, but I just realized, I was like, wow, a lot of times when I go back to my moments of regret in my past, I was the one there cheering myself on. I'm a really, really good liar. I can talk myself into anything. And so just realizing that, I've robbed myself of a lot of future joy. I've robbed myself of a lot of things that I wanted for myself. And so the only way to really fight that is to now take a pause and say, okay, now I have to challenge those lies that I'm even telling myself. Because you're right. It's one thing for other people to lie to you. We don't want to be lied to, but it's a whole different thing to lie to yourself, and I think if we're honest, a lot of us are a lot better at it than we would like to admit.
I agree. And I think we are so deeply offended when we realize that someone has lied to us, and yet we are incredibly forgiving.
That's right.
When we realize that we've just lied to ourselves.
Yeah.
In fact, we would probably agree that the most dangerous lies in life are those quiet, private lies that we are telling ourselves.
That's right.
About life, about reality, about who we are, about the ownership that we might have in a particular situation or circumstance. It's easy to not tell ourselves the truth.
That's right. Can I give you an example? I've always, genetically, I've always been pretty slender. I've always been in good shape. I played sports and I just look back and I feel like from my 20s, a lot of my 30s, I just told myself I can eat whatever I want and I'll be fine. It sounds dumb to say it out loud, but I truly told myself that because I'm good. I can treat my body how I can go to sleep at 3 a.m., sleep for 4 hours, eat whatever I want, and I'll be fine. You say that out loud and people are going, well, that's dumb. Why would you ever believe that? But I genuinely convinced myself that that was true, and I lived out of that reality.
So how's that working out for you?
Not great.
So that's the point. Lies will eventually be exposed.
That's right.
The question is, do we acknowledge the lie early enough? And confront it with truth, or do we wait till the truth shows up on our doorstep and says, actually, this is the truth because we have the wake-up calls. Because truth will be revealed.
Always.
And so the question is, when are we going to allow that truth to be revealed? Is it early or is it later?
But Michael, even that, I think a lot of times there's a lie there, because if you're right, I think we all know it, like eventually it's gonna come out. But I think sometimes the lie we tell ourselves is that we're better off managing it now. Like I'm better off keeping it as a secret, like I'm better off, and so even there's the lie, and then there's the lie to conceal. The lie that it's not going to come out, the lie that I can figure this out on my own. Like I got it. It's manageable. And so it's like the lies just keep stacking up on each other.
I'm going to pause right now in my conversation with Sammy and ask you to do what I typically would not. And that is to actually take the next 5 or 10 minutes before you continue the rest of this bite-sized podcast to write down maybe 1 or 2, if not 3 lies that you are believing and need to challenge. Don't rush this process. Take a few minutes and then get back to the episode. Yeah, and I think that lies in the darkness, since you're talking about secrets, and lies in the silence, they have more power than when you bring them into the light. Lies shrink in the light.
That's right.
And when truth is revealing itself, it shines a light on the lie and in the darkness and exposes it for what it is. Yeah. But I think if we're just honest, obviously there's the lies that we're telling ourselves and justifying behavior. Because again, there's a couple different categories here. There's the justifying behavior. It's the making excuses. Yeah. It could be the really dark secrets. Yeah. We've done an episode entitled Share That Secret, because sometimes secrets skeletons tend to begin to sabotage the life that we want. Yeah. But I also think there's a different kind of lie. And if we could go here for a moment, it's the lies that we say to ourselves about who we are. That's right. That we're not enough. Yeah. That we're a failure. Yeah. That we're unlovable. That we aren't worth it. Yeah. And it's interesting. We have more mean and untruthful conversations with ourselves than we would ever have with our best friends. Yeah. The things we say to ourselves, we would never say to our best friends because it wouldn't be the loving thing to do. Yeah. We do a lot of work in the coaching, consulting world, sports performance around overthinking. Yeah. And what's interesting about overthinking is most overthinking, which again we can all relate to, tends to be that we are believing lies. Yeah. And it's interesting, the analogy I like to use, and you're not going to be surprised because I've shared it before, if someone just walked into your house and started eating your food and wearing your clothes and sleeping in your bed and trashing the place, they would probably get away with that for about 5.5 minutes before you say, get the heck out of here, or you call the police. That's right. And yet how often we allow this lie to come into the apartment of our mind, unchallenged, uncensored, unfiltered, as opposed to saying, get the heck out of here. Yeah. Challenging. Yeah. Get out. Or saying, this is not true. Yeah.
No, I'm glad you went there, because I actually think, as you were talking, I was thinking about it, that, those lies of excuses and excusing behavior, I think a lot of it is actually tied to a deeper lie that we believe about ourselves. It's like those are the hardest ones. It's like the metaphor you just gave. It's so much easier for me to be gullible about myself, Yeah. And I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if it's insecurity. I don't know if it's fear, but you're right. It's a lot easier for me to just accept that. And not only would we never say that to a friend, but if we heard a friend say that about themselves, we would call them out. Like the things I think about myself, if I heard you say about yourself, I'd be like,
bro, that's not true.
Like you can't. Yeah.
That's not true. And we would be very proactive and intentional and even passionate about trying to convince our friend. No, this is what is true, which is why I think in many ways, part of challenging every lie is surrounding yourself with trusted advisors and mentors and friends who will tell you the truth. Yeah. Because oftentimes we can't see, you're a pastor. Yeah. I'm a coach. You do counseling. Yeah. I do counseling. And I don't know if you can relate to this, but I can sit with someone for 5 minutes and they start talking about a problem. And I'm like, yep, I know the issue. I know the solve, and I know what's going on. I look in the mirror and I'm like, I can't see myself accurately. I need community.
That's right.
I need people around me who are trusted advisors. Yeah. You are a pastor. So let's talk spiritually just for a second. I forget who said it. You're probably going to school me and mentor me in this regard, but I know that who said it? that the most important thing about you is what comes into your mind when you think about God.
Yeah, I think it's A.W. Tozer.
I think you're right. There we go. Thank you for the reminder. So the most important thing is what about any human being is what comes into their minds when they think about God. I would say the second most important thing about human beings is what comes into their mind when they think about themselves. Both of which are tragedies when we begin to believe lies about God and we begin to believe lies about ourselves. If we imagine a world. Imagine a person who actually saw God clearly and truthfully. Motives, actions, that we actually, because most of the challenges people have with religion is that they're believing lies about God. Most of the challenges that we're having about our own identity and our own life is because we're believing lies about ourselves. So I think being able to be in a situation where we're truth-telling, both about God, reality, the world, people, and ourselves is really the pathway to freedom and to becoming more fully, fully alive. I mean, the lies that are being told to us, and more importantly, the lies that we're telling ourselves, they are literally preventing us from experiencing the life as God designed us to live.
That's right. Like I think it was Paul who talked about taking every thought captive. And I keep going back to that metaphor you gave. You know, it's almost like our thought life, you know, comes in and ransacks everything. We're just like, you're good, you know? And it's this idea of just taking ownership of that, you know? And I think sometimes, honestly, it's a hard adjustment to make because you almost think you don't have a choice. You know, it's kind of like, well, it's just how we think, you know? But it's this idea that even biblically speaking, you know, that like, hey, no, like you actually have authority. To use your metaphor, it's your house. Like you can actually determine what comes in and what comes out, you know? And that's maybe part of, you know, the first lie to challenge is that I just have to take everything that comes in my mind. Like if I think it, then I have to believe it, then it has to be true. And so maybe that's, you know, that's the first lie for some of us to challenge is the lie that I have to believe everything I think about myself.
And don't believe everything you think.
Yes, that's right. Which is such a weird thing to say. It's almost like saying don't believe yourself, you know? But there is that, you know, like, and then going back to what you said before, and I think that's where the community aspect is so helpful, right? You know, because I'm trying not to believe everything I think, and I'm trying to challenge what I'm thinking, but there's still always that doubt, you know? And it's because you've amplified that voice. That lie is so, and I think that's what makes it hard too, is because a lot of the lies we believe falsely about ourselves, we've repeated for so long and we've fed it. And so it is loud. And so when you know, so it's kind of like it just takes so long. And I think that's where it's almost not enough sometimes for me to try and replace that lie with a truth. Like I need somebody else to come. I need to raise the volume on the truth and do the work to be able to replace, you know, fully challenge it.
Well, I'm going to coach our viewers. I'm going to coach our listeners. Obviously, I've served in your life as a life coach. And let's just go there. So when someone says to me, what do I do with that thought? You've said we can't control what thoughts come in and out of our mind. I would actually say, because I was challenged the other day by a friend of mine named Luke who said, wait. I don't believe the fact that I have control over my thoughts. What he was saying was, I can't control that a thought comes into my mind. And I'd say, I do agree with that. Because right now, if I said to you, Sammy, even here on the air, Sammy, I want you to think about this. There's no way you can't think about it.
No,
it's there.
I just thought about it.
Now the question is, for 30 seconds, 30 minutes, or 30 days? What do you do with it?
That's right.
What do you do with it? So you identify it, you investigate it, and you interrogate it. You identify it, investigate, interrogate. Friends, if you're listening, fear, worry, frustration, anger, same idea. You identify it. You say it out loud. This is what is happening. Better yet, if you say it to a friend. Include community. I'm identifying it. That is the what. The why is the investigate it. Why is this here? Why do I keep believing this? Why is this in the apartment of my mind that it just keeps reappearing? Like, what is at the core of this belief, this lie? And then thirdly, you interrogate it. I mean, a good interrogator,
that's my favorite step in there. That's right.
A great interrogator exposes the lie and it reveals the truth. And I think in many ways it's being able to say that is not true. You interrogate it, you replace it with truth. And then you know what people tell me all the time? They say, Michael Brown, it sounds good in theory, but it doesn't work. I said, what do you mean it doesn't work? I said, tell me why. Explain to me how this doesn't work. And they say this, well, I did it. And then 2 hours later, the thought was back.
I thought about
and you know what I say? I say, that was a great 2 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the point is, you practice.
That's
and then
right.
as you practice and practice, the 2 hours becomes 4 hours, becomes 4 days.
Yeah.
And then you're learning to
It's the
practice.
reps. Yeah.
It's like, you're learning to take, and if you do it in the context of community, of trusted advisors, friends, and you say it out loud, immediately the benefits of that become quicker, easier. And because you said it, that voice has been so loud.
Yeah.
That lie has been so amplified. That belief that is not true, we've just kind of like grabbed it and held onto it for so long, is going to take a while at times to challenge the lie. It's not a one-time event.
That's right.
Challenging, I wish it was a 5-word podcast. Challenge every lie every day.
Yeah, you have to
every
repeatedly
moment.
challenge it. I think it was Dr. Carolyn Leaf, I think was the name, a neuroscientist. You know, she talked about how you have this neural pathways. You know, she's like, imagine a field and you keep walking down a certain path over every day. After a while, you know, it's like all of the leaves or the plants or whatever are down. Like you've created, she's like, you actually create, I never forgot that, neural pathways in your brain, right? Like, so even if you're like, I don't believe the spiritual whatever, like that's literally what's happening.
Yeah.
We have to rewire your brain. And so when if I've told myself like, man, I'm not good enough, I'm the worst. Like I have to rewire my brain and challenge and repeat the process so I can form, you know, new thoughts and belief systems.
When again, the rewiring is the outcome.
Yes.
The challenging is the input.
Yeah.
So you're making the choice
That's
to
right.
challenge, and then you begin to, I actually am believing truth.
That's right.
And it may take a while because it might require, you know.
So what are those 3 things again? Identify,
identify, investigate, interrogate. So it is the what?
Yep.
The why. You walk around and go, why does that continue?
Yeah.
And then what am I going to do about it?
Yeah. And then just keep doing that.
And you keep practicing it.
Yeah.
Because again, if a thought comes in, you can say, I can remove it. But keep in mind, when you remove the lie, you then need to replace it with truth.
That's right.
Because if you're like, don't think, don't believe, don't believe, you have to be able to say, instead, I'm going to think about this.
Yep.
Instead, I'm going to believe this. Instead, that lie is out. This truth is in.
Yeah.
Hopefully this was encouraging to our viewers and listeners. I know I needed to hear it again because this is so hard.
It is.
Friend to friend, we're still dealing with this.
That's
we're
right.
still struggling. We're still evolving. There is no perfection in this process. It's simply progress.
That's right.
But it's worth practicing.
Yep.
Anyways, challenge every lie.
That's right.
Thanks for the conversation.
Yep.
Hey, did you know we have a digital newsletter that you can actually subscribe to at dmbcoaching.com/subscribe, where we go deeper about some of the topics we're talking about here at 3 Words? Check it out. We'll see you in a few weeks.